Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel. It's your boy, World of Wrestling, here today to discuss about AEW Dynamite 8, August 7th, 2024. Review. Uh, what can I say about the show? The show sucked. It was boring. From what I heard, there's something going on with a hurricane issue with traveling issues because of a hurricane in North Carolina that just hit Florida and has now moved up to North Carolina at this point. So it's kind of left this show kind of short staffed, I guess you could say. Um let me fix this real quick. So, my thoughts on the show, average at best, maybe. um I didn't particularly care for the show. It was kind of boring for my own taste. Um, Brian Danielson won against Jeff Jarrett in a very entertaining main event, but that was about it. Swerve Strickland came out after the show, after the match was over, and cut a promo on Brian Danielson and said that he's going to have a tune-up match his own self against Wheeler Yuta. So that match is actually taking place next week. Should be an entertaining match. I look forward to seeing that match. The opener to the show was MJF versus Kyle Fletcher. This match was good. Kyle Fletcher ended up losing, unfortunately, as usual. Man hasn't won a singles match in God knows how long. And he didn't take advantage of an opportunity he should have had. Don Callis threw him a screwdriver. He hesitated, threw the screwdriver away, and then MJF low blows him and hits a brainbuster suplex on Kyle Fletcher for a 1-2-3. I was saying to myself, bro, I know you might be having some moral, wanting to have morals, but when you're going up against a guy like MJF, you don't go ahead and, worry about morals, because I'll promise you this: MJF will screw you if you don't. Whenever he finds an opportunity, he takes advantage of it and he utilizes it to the best of his ability. When the match was over, he hit him with the Dynamite Diamond Ring. Kyle Fletcher was left there bleeding to death. He was about ready to do something. The Tiger Driver 99, I believe it's called, or 91. And Will Ospreay actually came out to make the save, but before he could, he was actually trapped in his own locker room. He was unable to break through his door because it was barricaded. He couldn't open the door, so he had to shove his way out, and then eventually made the save and was bleeding, getting blood all over his Adidas shirt. And Don Callis was yelling at Will Ospreay saying, "Where the hell were you? Why weren't you here to make the save and help this guy?" I could definitely see MJF going to the Don Callis family. I think it would help Don Callis's group out a lot, because they got no momentum at this point. And MJF going there and continuing this rivalry with Will Ospreay, I think would definitely work. But overall, it is what it is. I'm looking forward to this matchup for the American Championship, as they're calling it right now. So they decided to change it later. But yeah, I think that was good. The main event was good, but the rest of the show in between, I didn't care for it that much. It wasn't all that intriguing to me. I just didn't see any point in the whole rest of the show because it was just not that much going on. I mean, let's see here. So I already discussed about what happened after the match. Then we get a video package hyping up the match coming up later tonight between Jeff Jarrett and Bryan Danielson. Then they go back to the commentary team talking about their concern of Kyle Fletcher. The music of Mariah May is up next, and as she makes her way to the ring, May has high heel shoes and her women's Owen Hart tournament belt with her. Viva Van is already in the ring. This is a tune-up match, if you would want to call it that. And that's pretty much it. Myra May, of course, won this match. After the match, there was a wrapped gift handed to May, and she opens it up in a photo of Storm cuddling May. Written on the back is Die, Myra, Die. Storm enters the ring and attacks May. May kicks Storm, and May grabs a shoe, but Storm takes it from her. And Storm then goes to nail May with the shoe, but officials and security breaks them. Both women break free as the officials and security again hold back both women. May leaves the ring as Storm holds up the photo showing Die, Myra, Die. My attitude about this match, it's going to be very difficult to predict where AEW is going to book this match. I don't know whether they're going to go with Myra May or they're going to go with Toni Storm. I think they're going to go with Mariah May, honestly. And the reason why I say Mariah May, I might be wrong about this, so don't, come at me and say, oh, well, you don't know what you're talking about. Because this is really a toss-up based on booking decisions. Because either way you go, I mean, you're not making a bad decision. You could stretch this out to All Out, possibly, and have a rematch if you want, to give Toni Storm that victory in her home country. I believe she is from the UK, or it might be Australia. I'm not sure which, but doesn't really matter, I don't think. But Toni Storm getting this win at All In or Mariah May is huge. Both of these women have not had anything major occur for them, but I'm going to lean towards possibly Toni Storm. I was thinking Mariah May in the beginning, but now things seem to be the momentum for Toni Storm seems to be a lot bigger. I think that she has a bigger advantage here. And I honestly think that they're going to go with this because they've created a new Toni Storm gimmick. She's now a fucking raving schizoid maniac. And she's lost everything she had that made the character. So why not? So my personal opinion, I'm going to go with Toni Storm on this one. I think Toni Storm is going to pick up the W and get the win. Now, if you came at me and asked me, hey, World of Wrestling, would you bet on this match? Absolutely not. I have no fucking idea. A lot of these matches, I have no idea. The top 3 build matches so far, I don't know who would win. I don't even think I'm going to bet on this pay-per-view even. Just because I already have a sports book here in the States that I use, and I put money into that. I can't do both sports books. I can't do Bet Online and Hard Rock at the same time. So I have to be very, very, careful on what I bet. And sometimes pro wrestling can be a little bit confusing. You might not know who to really pick. So you're probably best to just stay away from it, which I have done since I've started this back in May for Double or Nothing. I'm going to lean towards Tony Storm for this match, like I said. Swerve Strickland, I think he's going to win, but I wouldn't even bet on that match either. MJF, I think I could go with him. MJF, I think I would bet on him, win the match, get the W in Will Ospreay's hometown, and then lose to Daniel Garcia at All Out. That I could see. And then have Will Ospreay move past the mid-card championship and go towards something a little bit more prestigious like the World Heavyweight title and eventually win that championship. That's what I could see. And I could see that happening after MJF won the world title from Swerve Strickland. So that's the direction I think they're going. A lot of times I'm able to kind of get the correct direction on where they're booking the world championship. And I honestly think that in this case, I really believe that we are going to see Swerve Strickland with the championship until MJF takes it off of him. I think that's where this is leading to. And then eventually Will Ospreay will be the guy to take the title off of MJF. And I think that will happen next year at All In. That's what I think is going to happen. It would be a great revenge victory, and not to mention it would be something that Will Ospreay would be winning in his hometown for a major title, not for a mid-card championship. That's what I think is going to happen. I think MJF is going to retain the title, beat Will Ospreay, face Daniel Garcia at All Out for that championship in the main event of that show. I don't think Swerve Strickland's having a match at All Out. I think All Out is going to be something that is not going to be utilized for a world title, because the world title is going to be used for Grand Slam, which is in the same month of All Out. So I imagine Swerve Strickland is going to defend that title against Darby Allin, which I heard, since he won the Rampage Gauntlet match, whatever the fuck they did on Rampage a few weeks ago. So I think that is what they're going to do. I think Swerve Strickland is going to retain the title. We're going to see the last of Bryan Danielson, possibly. I think Bryan Danielson's just getting his last hurrah. I mean, they've already announced that he is not wrestling with a contract, so he's basically show to show is what they're doing, so that he can finish out this whole thing. And I think he's going to be retired, possibly. If you wanted to go the other direction, though, let's say you were betting on AEW's All In pay-per-view event, and you wanted to bet on Bryan Danielson to win the title, I would not blame you. Not one bit. I don't think you'd be a moron, because it could go the other way too. I mean, he did say that he wants to wrestle part-time, but he's also claiming he's not wrestling with an AEW contract. So I don't know if this is something he's just trying to play out until he finishes out his program for the World Championship. But I'm not quite sure that is going to happen. I don't think that Swerve Strickland is going to lose. Again, I think MJF is going to be the guy to take the title off of Swerve Strickland, because Swerve Strickland isn't really portraying a heel. He just has a lot of confidence in this matchup, believes he's going to walk away still the champion, and that might be the case. And then we just see him go back to being a baby face with morals. I mean, he's not like cheating or anything. He's just being a little too, downgrading Bryan Danielson's achievements. Like tonight, he kind of downgraded Bryan Danielson's achievement of being a world champion, while himself, Jeff Jarrett, and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat were the top big reasons why Dynamite was a good show, and saying that Bryan Danielson wasn't that big of a deal. So my viewpoint on that is, I think Swerve Strickland, though, will retain the championship. But again, like I said, If you wanted to bet on Bryan Danielson, I wouldn't blame you at all. He's plus money, by the way. From Bet US, that's what I've seen. He is plus money. So that's a possibility. All right. So following that, we go to a vignette of Jack Perry watching video footage of Darby Allin's matches. Scapegoat appears on the screen. This segment was actually kind of cut off. They went to commercials, which is kind of fucking dumb if you ask me, but whatever. Then they went back to it. It was completely messed up. The production team really fucked up on this one. But anyway, back from the break, Darby Allin is backstage talking about Jack Perry and telling him he doesn't have to show up at Rampage or Collision, but he has to show up at All In. So this match, I'm definitely going with Jack Perry. This is definitely a match that I think is going to be bettable. I think we can all benefit from this matchup. And definitely at least make $10. I would imagine the odds on this is like a minus 400 for Jack Perry. I think that's what the sportsbook of Bet Online is going to give it. At least I'm hoping for that. I hope it's not in the 1000s, the minus 1000s, because if that's the case, there's nothing to bet on here. It's just a fucking wash. So then we get the music of Brian Keith up next as he makes his way to the ring. Chris Jericho's Learning Tree music hits as Jericho and Big Bill make their way to the ring. And Jericho and Bill join security. Taz has been removed from commentary for this match. Of course he is, because of what he did to his son. And then we get Brian Keith versus Shibata. Did not even pay attention to this match. Shibata won this match, though. After the match, Jericho and Big Bill run down and take out Shibata. Bill and Keith have Shibata up as Jericho goes to nail Shibata. Hook's music hits and he runs to the ring and takes out Bill and Keith. Hook and Jericho brawl, and Hook gets the upper hand. As Hook goes to suplex Jericho, he escapes and retreats. Big whoop. Wow. A lot of important things happening on this episode of AEW Dynamite. What a fucking shit show. We go backstage with Renee Paquette talking to Orange Cassidy about his match tonight. He has a couple of local talent that will stand in with him, as the rest of his teammates could not make it due to travel issues. Back from the break, we go backstage with Renee Paquette talking to Hangman Page about his loss to Darby Allin. Page says there is no man he has wanted. He tells Renee that he will have what he wants. Okay. We go to a sit-down interview with Jim Ross talking to Swerve Strickland. Once this is available by AEW on social media, it will be posted. Okay, whatever. So music hits at Orange Cassidy. We get a 6-man tag team match. Orange Cassidy, FTR, Dax Hardwood, and Cash Wheeler. Been a while since they've been on Dynamite. And they face Roosh, Roderick Strong, and the Beast Mortoros. Or Motos. Whatever. This match was nothing. I mean, it was back and forth. Some good stuff here and there. Orange Cassidy and FTR win the match. After the match, the Acclaim's music hits. Dax then has a mic and says it looks like the mic guys don't want to hear him talk. And Dax says he appreciates all the Acclaimed have done for AEW, but this is beyond AEW. We then go to a pull-apart brawl between the Acclaim and FTR. What's going on here with these two? I have no fucking idea because I don't watch Collision. Thanks for informing us of what the problem is between FTR and the Acclaim for people who don't watch Collision because they got a life outside of pro wrestling on a Saturday night. or just want to watch other things besides pro wrestling, which is UFC and boxing for me. Anyway, which is a lot more entertaining than Collision, okay? We go backstage with Christian Cage hyping up the match between the Bang Bang Gang and House of Black at Saturday's Collision, with the winners becoming the number one contenders to the trio's titles. Cage then says the winners will get a title shot at All In. Cage then says he will be the special guest referee. Should be very, very entertaining. Right. To nobody. We get Camille versus Jasmine Heo and Clara Carter. Apparently, Camille seems to be more important than Mercedes Moné. She's basically Diesel to Shawn Michaels for Mercedes Moné. I mean, I don't get this shit. Whatever, man. We're supposed to hype up Mercedes Moné, yet she's got a muscle to her character. When did she needed a muscle when she can just do this shit by herself? Doesn't make any sense to me. But hey, it is what it is, you know? Moving on. Of course, Camille wins this match because this is an enhancement beat 'em up squash 'em match. And after the match, Monet grabs the mic and says hello to the Brick House Camille. Monet then says Britt Baker suspended until All In. Monet again says Baker is not here tonight. Monet then talks about how Britt was the first, but never the best. Monet says she is the best in AEW. Tony Schiavone interrupts and says that Tony Khan has overruled the Elite and has lifted the suspension of Baker. We go to Baker via satellite, and Baker says when things don't go Monet's way, she takes her ball and goes home. Baker says AEW is just the flavor of the month for her. Baker says at All In, she will be the first woman in AEW to beat Mercedes Moné. I don't think so. I think Mercedes Moné will win this match. I think the odds for betting on this will be worth your time. I think you can at least win $10 back with what you're putting in. So I think it's a bettable situation based on the odds that they give you. So yeah, I would definitely go with this match. This match, I'm going with Mercedes Moné. I don't think Moné is going to lose at All In. They just got her, and then they're going to have her lose the title. I don't think so. So we go to a video package hyping up the AEW World Title match with Bryan Danielson challenging Swerve Strickland at All In. We get Ricky the Dragon Steamboat coming out. And then we get to the main event. As I already mentioned, Bryan Danielson wins and picks up the victory and walks away with the W. And that's it. That was your show. My attitude, who fucking cares? The show sucked. It was a kind of a light show, I guess you could say, because of traveling issues with the hurricane. And that's about it. Otherwise, who gives a shit? Anyway, guys, at this time, you know what to do. Hit the like button if you like the video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. And leave a comment down below. I'll definitely get back to you on that. Thank you guys very much for watching. And have a great night, guys. Bye.